Okay, here is one of my most recent builds, and I was going to originally do an updated case design with a forged ring to cover the tip-up trigger on this, but the customer, Felix Guillaume Harder of France, said that he really liked the raw and natural look of my whale case. I call this a whale case because I use the knots to make the eye, and it ends up looking kind of like a sperm whale. No matter which way you flip it, it has a mouth and an eye, so it looks like a sea creature. And then for this, I went and updated my pins. I used brass and a tapered reamer, and I tapered my holes, and then I used a ball peen hammer and my Rajasthani anvil to swell out the brass, and it gave it this nice hammer peened finish. Very, very natural. So I went minimalist with this case. This is locally sourced from Tree Trimmings Honey Locust, one of my favorite woods to work with. The finish on this, I don't use any varnish. This is a beeswax style finish. And then the whole piece, I worked it with an axe a little bit and then sawn here to create the mouth for this. And this entire case is designed to be displayed tip up, so you can display it on your desk or mantle or whatever. But let's get a look at this harp here. The case, it is heavy, but it does function quite well. The swell of the brass stops it from opening clear all the way. Harp fits down in there. For future, unless somebody requests a wooden whale case, so you can see it without being tied, it does look like a sperm whale's head with a mouth. In the future, if people request these, I can build them on request. If not, I'm going to be switching over to, this is going to be my design, possibly, and every case might be different. This might be my design for future builds with the reed faced up, and then here having, I can hot work metal now. I do have some small anvils, so I'm going to forge, just start off with forging just a ring so that it can just be displayed with the trigger up. Let's get a look at the harp. This one is an F2 sharp. It's tempered. I did do a recurved, stylish looking trigger. I'm getting better at doing these. And this player is an inward only player, but the harp itself plays very, very well outward as well. I spent a ton of time doing engravings on the trigger, on the end of the tailpiece for the reed. I also engraved the note on it. This is F2 sharp. And I did engravings all the way around, and then I did forced patinas with a temper on top of it, so we got all sorts of patterns going on the insides of the decks. So I'm really, really pleased how this turned out. Yeah, I do very psychedelic, very otherworldly style engravings on there. I engrave things for my meditations, things for my daily life. Every bit of artwork on this does have a meaning, at least for me. I like that. My harps are what I consider meditational or journey work tools. There's the, I'm going to start engraving the note. Instead of engraving on the inside, I'm going to start engraving it on the tail for customers who do want a tail. So I'm very, very pleased with how this turns out. I also follow the cycles of the moon, so when I started it, the phase of the moon is on there as well. I'm weird like that. Let's go ahead and let's get an ear on this. Different trigger shapes, and I talk to each individual about their playing style. So I like to build a trigger shape to complement the user's playing style. You can always email theharpery@gmail.com, and Porky Miller is going to forward that to me, and I'll see what you want and see if I can come up with a harp and case design that works for you, because each harp is going to be different and cases are all going to be different, although I can do wooden whales. Also, the other thing about this case option here is in the EU, in the European Union, you can't mail unheat treated wood, so I did do some experiments, and this is fully heat treated. This has been heat treated for more than 3 to 4 times what the EU requires, so this was heat treated for 7 hours with a final temperature of 250 degrees. So this thing is absolutely free of pests and diseases, because you don't want to mail raw lumber from your area from one country to another. So this has been heat treated, and I can mail these anywhere in the world safely. Let's get an ear on this. Okay, here is the finished product. I really, really like recurved teardrop shaped triggers like this. Let's see what it sounds like. This is F2 sharp. With light strokes. It gives a very, very clean bell ring. When you strike it harder with this trigger shape, it starts to have a tiny amount of saturation. It gets a little bit more aggressive. I'm very, very impressed with the direction that we're heading, and especially getting this type of melodic nature out of the instrument. So this is going out to Mr. Felix Guillen-Parter. Thank you so much for your patience. And in the future, I'm still doing heating and air full time. The harps that I make right now, as of right now, in January of 2022, are being done in my free time. But if I continue to get orders in the future, I might start building full time. We'll just see where the world takes us. Anyways, I love y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them oiled, and most of all, be good to each other. Harp out. Now, if you are interested in having me build a harp just for you, be sure to contact me at bebbcorp1@gmail.com.